Well, it's, what needs to happen, I think, is we need to bring in like a total professional person who knows, like, if they were going to be sitting there doing programming,
Right.
what they would need and how they would want it set up.
And
we have,
maintain it and
and
properly
maintain that.
maintain it, yeah.
And there's been problems with the air conditioning or this or that. So the bottom line is that I believe there are a lot of really wonderful people in Woodstock who would be involved if they felt like they could be part of the solution.
Yeah.
But right now they don't feel like they can make a lot of headway.
And
so,
your goal is to open the doors and make it more welcoming when you get elected and onto the town board.
and there's a variety of small things we can do. Number one, we can improve the website.
Yeah,
I mean, you
yeah,
see, people are into computers. I mean, I'm on Facebook,
yeah.
and it's incredible how much information is going through.
How do
the
they
web.
find you on Facebook?
Just my name, Woodstock, New York.
Okay.
And I'm a very public person, and always have been, that I don't have anything to hide.
Okay.
And you may not agree with my views, and
Right.
you may want to trounce me for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to know exactly what I think. And you can check out my page, and it's pretty radical. Don't get scared off. I'm a little schizophrenic.
This
because
is Woodstock.
I'm a little schizophrenic because I have the yin and the yang. I have the beautiful music and poetry and photographs and art, and then I have the horrible things going on in the world,
Fukushima, yeah, right.
and all the disasters and the wars, and
Yeah.
so you got to have a balance. We want to know what's happening because we
Yeah.
can't change it if we don't know, but we also need some relief with
Right.
beautiful music and
Right.
imagery to keep our souls happy.
How do they find you on the ballot?
Okay,
Where are you gonna
that's
be
going
on
to
the
be
ballot?
slightly tricky.
Yep, tell
Okay,
us.
here's how it works. I was a candidate in the Democratic primary. I narrowly lost, so I'm not on the ballot as a Democrat.
Okay.
There are two people, the current town board members, Bill McKenna and Kathy Magarelli, and we don't favor them. You should not vote for them for any reason. There are two Republicans. There's Jim Armstrong.
Oh, Jim Armstrong, that's right.
And Howard Harris.
Howard Harris.
Okay, and I like Howard. I think of all the other choices, if I was going to vote for somebody, it'd be Howard and me.
I think you two would be great together.
And
I really
we're
do.
different people with different ideas, but we get along pretty well. Maybe we're both a little bullheaded, but I guess we all are, and you need to be if
I
you're
think
gonna...
you're both open-minded, and that's a very good thing to have.
Well, I think we're both honest.
On the town board.
Is the other thing that's
Yeah.
important, and that's the other thing that's been lacking from the town board is honesty.
Yeah.
And they have outright lied, and I've watched them in meetings when they want to get their way. And one thing you can count on me is I'm going to tell you the truth, and you may not like it.
So tell us about your environmental background. I understand you're one of the fellows that saved the spotted owl in Oregon.
That's right.
We all remember that.
Yes, that was a very important victory. We used the Endangered Species Act. The northern spotted owl is a relatively small owl that lives in the old-growth forests and really nowhere else. And so in Oregon, probably 80% of the old-growth forest was destroyed through clear-cut logging.
80%?
80%. And we're talking about trees 10 and 12 feet wide, almost as big as redwood trees.
Wow.
500-year-old trees,
Wow.
cut mostly in the 1970s and 80s. And we had a suit tail end of the 1980s, our group and 10 other environmental groups, in order to get the owl listed as an endangered species, which succeeded.
Yeah.
And interestingly, it was a Bush judge that was our judge.
We remember.
Dwyer
Yep,
was the guy's
I
name.
remember.
And then we went through years, really, of getting the law implemented and his decision, and we lost a bunch more forest under the Clinton administration with Al Gore at his side watching literally hundreds of thousands of acres fall to chainsaws while they washed their hands of the matter.
Yeah.
And there are battles going on now, but the net effect was that we stopped 95% of the logging on old-growth forests. The spotted owl, which is still on the endangered species list.
Sure.
And its numbers are still declining.
Yeah.
Some scientists say it could be extinct in 10 to 15 years at the current rate.
Wow.
Because they only stopped logging on the public lands. The private timber companies like Weyerhaeuser,
They're still cutting old growth.
they're still cutting the little amount of old growth that's left on
Yeah.
private lands, but they're also cutting. So it's a complicated issue, but the owl's habitat is critical for its survival.
Sure.
It preys on these small rodents called tree voles
Yeah.
that live in the tops of the old growth trees. And if the tree voles go extinct, which they're on the verge of doing,
There
then
goes
the
the
owl
food.
goes extinct because its
Right.
food source is gone. They also eat flying squirrels, which are not in good shape as a species.
Right.
So I worked as the director of a nonprofit called Sustainable Forestry Network, and really our goal was to prove that we could have good forestry, that cutting trees was not necessarily a bad thing as long as you don't cut them all at once.
Right. Right.
And so we were advocating selective harvest.
Yeah.
And
Working forest.
and a
they
proven
call it, yeah.
force, both
Yeah.
financially and
Yeah.
wood product-wise.
Yeah.
And what we were able to show is that they could go in and sustainably harvest a third of the trees on any given acre,
Yeah.
and not only not damage the forest, but actually enhance the forest
Yeah.
in the sense that there's less competition, less fire danger,
Sure.
because a lot of the dead wood would be taken out.
Yeah.
And it would actually improve the health of the trees still standing because they'd have less competition.
Sounds great. We have big issues with trees here. The emerald ash borer. I think you have made a couple of comments about that. We have a epidemic wiping out virtually all the ash.
We lost a bunch of ash here, and there's, not to go into this at length, but I've been a journalist for almost 30 years, and so I read extensively, and the internet has been like a boon.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful thing because the information is so accessible now.
Sure.
And you don't have to be going to all these different libraries and looking
Yeah.
through stacks of. Okay, the ballot. So we have the way it's set up. If you're looking, say here's the ballot. We have the 2 Democratic Party candidates, the 2 Republican Party candidates. There are going to be empty slots for the Libertarian and the Green Party, and then to the far right is the Fresh Perspective Party.
That's you.
And that's me, and Lauren Rose is also a candidate. We went out, we collected about 200 signatures to get that line,
Great.
which is considered an independent party line.
Yep.
And I've talked with a lot of people who don't support either the Democrats or Republicans and are open to,
Yep.
but you got to find it on the ballot, so it's going to be to the far right, even though I think our positions are more to the far left. But
Right.
but if you go far enough to the right, you come out on the left, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Right, no,
Come all the way around. That sounds great. And let's hope that folks will take a little bit extra time in the voting booth. This will be the new electronic scanning machines, right? And remind folks that if they're having trouble finding Gary's name on the ballot, that they can ask for assistance from poll people there, the people working at the polls. Don't feel that you have to vote for somebody you don't want to just because the ballot might not look quite the way you want it to. And I wish you total luck. I think that this is a great opportunity for Woodstock to get some progressive thinking, open-minded, honest, and truly caring people this election cycle. And you appear to be one of them. So I wish you luck.
Thank you.